UMAR, AHMED, IFL TV, MTK Global, Roll on Fight Night, Wayne's done, joined by Adam Smith. Yeah, we're set to go.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it was a great start to Fight Camp last week, wasn't it, UMAR? It was a spectacular night, great event, fireworks, Sweet Caroline. I think we had this, after the sunset, we had a full moon, and then we had a full night of action, which is the most important thing. You know, the concept was always so innovative from Matchroom. So much work behind the scenes to get this operation, this event happening in their headquarters, and it looked amazing. But Eddie and I have talked long about the fact that there's got to be quality fights and no easy fights, 50-50s or certainly 55-45s, and you know, if there are opponents, they're coming to give it everything, and I think that's what it's all about. You know, there's only 5 fights on the card. We've got to have sort of great scraps every time, and I think last week they got better and better, and you know, Tennyson and Gwynn was terrific while it lasted. So Fight Camp 1 done, Fight Camp 2 Friday night, topped by the first women's world title fight between 2 British ladies ever, which I think is great. First world title fight since lockdown, and it's a really good one. You know, Terry Harper's been a terrific story for the last sort of couple of years, where she's come through under Steffi Bull and taken a chance in Under the Lights, and Natasha Jonas we've known for so long. You know, we've obviously watched her being an exceptional amateur, part of that Team GB setup, and you know, we followed her career very, very closely, covered her a lot, and she gets a chance quite late on to become a world champion, and they're very confident. She punches hard. She's had great sparring with Chantel Cameron. Terry's got the momentum, the freshness, but it's going to be a good fight, I think.
You still going to be in the same position as you was commentating last week?
Yep, I think we're 10 metres away. I think we've had 1 or 2 issues about whether, you know, fighters could hear Matt and I, and you know, 1 or 2 trainers are saying, look, if the judges can hear that as well, could they be affected? I don't think so. I think 3 judges have got their own jobs, and I think Robert Smith knows that. And you know, it's look, when we're in a Manchester Arena or an O2 and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon,
I can hear you, yeah.
You're going to hear us. I mean, I spoke to Jamie Moore the other day, and he remembers very clearly hearing commentary and saying, oh, I don't agree with that or whatever, you know, and so I think, you know, that's part of it, and I think everyone's got to be adaptable. So we're being adaptable. We're going to try and put a glass screen up so that doesn't happen. It might be mighty hot in there. We're going to be 10 metres back, but you know, Matt and I will call the fights. We can't wait. It's very exciting. And listen, as always, the best fighter wins, and it's up to the 3 judges to score it. But we are looking at that. We looked at the sound as well, the sound of the punches. The corner sound's difficult because of the restrictions and the regulations about what the trainers have to wear. And everybody's got to adapt. Everybody's got to be versatile. You've got to listen to the British board, listen to Robert Smith, and what he says will go, and we've got to adhere to that. Adam Harper just coming back into to weigh again, so well, hopefully that's all fine.
Do you know the situation with crowd noise for this Friday on the telly, the crowd noise situation?
I think we're possibly going to try out no crowd noise. I mean, there was a hum last time, and I think, you know, everybody's trying different things out. Obviously on the football we've had a lot of crowd noise, and then you can hear another channel where you just get the reality. And I think I said to Coogan or the other night, I'm not sure, or somebody else, that my daughter really loves the crowd noise in the football, and my son really likes to hear the sort of almost the grassroots, hear the players talking. So I think everyone's got their different ideas. Personally, I think authenticity is the most important. So I like it. I would like it without, but we'll see what happens. And I think we're trying a few things out, how the mix goes, and I think it's important to hear the punches as much as we can. And you know, without a crowd, we want to get as close to the action as possible. But we're doing everything we can to bring what the fans want. But you know, fans are it's subjective, aren't they? They're subjective opinions. Some like it, some don't. So we can't please everybody, but we're trying.
Now, Adam, I know you had a long catch up with Kogan in the week, so you discussed a lot of topics. But of course, this week it seems like Eddie and Frank might be not rekindling, but coming together on some fights. It
reminds me of when Don King and Bob Arum shook hands, and they were both, you know, telling each other how great a promoter they were. I mean, look, nothing is impossible in boxing. You know, who would have thought when David Haye and Derek Chisora had that fight?
True.
That David Haye would end up managing Derek Chisora. It's a crazy sport. But what it is, it's a sport that we're all in. It's a business. Now, we're working with our exclusive promoter, Matchroom. We have a fantastic relationship. We used to work with Frank, and that was great back in the day. We had some great fights, great nights with him. He's a wonderful promoter. The likes of, your Brunos, your Bens, your Nazes, your Ricky Hattons, great times. But we work, with Matchroom, with Eddie, and we're really involved in this innovative fight camp and enjoying it. And obviously, we're taking every step at a time. We've got 4 weeks of this. Then no one really knows what's going to happen with the pandemic, and will there be another spike? When will crowds be allowed back? But it was very interesting, wasn't it? I mean, Frank has done a couple of interviews on Sky Sports over the lockdown. It's been great to re-engage with him. Actually, he's fantastic to talk to, and he was teasing that sort of collaboration and sort of working together. And so it didn't come as a total surprise. But they went public with it, and look, it'll be very interesting. I understand. I knew straight away afterwards that Eddie and Frank actually spoke, which I think is the first time they've ever spoken. So never say never in boxing. Obviously, the big fight would be Joshua and Fury, Bob Arum and Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. We'll make that happen at some point next year. There's a long way to go before that is even reality. Dillian White, for example, fights Povetkin in a couple of weeks here. He will then want Fury as the mandatory. Obviously, AJ's got the Pulev fight. Tyson's got the Deontay Wilder trilogy to finish. Where's that going to happen? When's it going to happen? That's this year done. So we're looking at next year for all of that. So I think Eddie's said he's open to sit down with Frank. Maybe it will happen in September after fight camp's out the way. And I'll be very interested to hear what happens, and if they want me there, and George is there, and Frank Smith, and everybody, we can all go and have lunch together.
Has Frank Warren spoke to you recently? Yeah,
so Frank and I spoke a couple of times. We did a couple of interviews in lockdown.
I mean this week more specifically.
Yeah, they've reached out to us. George, I had a message from George which I responded to and said, look, we've got fight camp going on at the moment. I believe Eddie and Frank are going to meet, and so let them meet, and then we can chat afterwards. What there are a load of fights that are very appetising, aren't they? Very interesting, especially like Boazzi and Yard. I love that fight. If you're talking Fury, Joshua, Boazzi, Yard, it's great. Chisora and Joe Joyce, but Joe Joyce is meant to be fighting Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, that Dubois, White, Chisora, Joyce is a bit confusing.
Yeah, Derek Chisora is meant to be fighting Alexander Usyk, and then, exactly, with Dillian and Daniel Dubois. Dillian's got his own business at the moment. So some of those are going to be harder to make. But, who knows what will happen in the months that are ahead, and maybe we're all going to be resting in Britain for a while. And if we're all resting in Britain and all the British fighters want to fight each other, a little bit like what we're doing with Fight Camp, getting the best against the best, then maybe there is the possibility of that. There's obviously a lot of hurdles, two different promotional camps, BT, Sky, but it's interesting talks, and we're always here to talk and chat, and it's fascinating. But I think we've got to concentrate on our business, giving Sky Sports customers the best we can, and with Matchroom we get absolutely that. The fight camp has had a fantastic start. We expect 3 great more weeks of it. Tomorrow night's going to be terrific, and then maybe when it's all done and dusted, Frank and Eddie will get together and have some sushi.
You're right, there's a lot of hurdles to overcome, but the fact that both, if you like, sides of the fences are willing to communicate after, let's say in September, that is surely a positive thing for fight fans, though.
And of course it's a positive thing for fight fans that, big fights are talked about and cross-promotion. I remember when I took the job of running the boxing at Sky many years ago, going from a reporter commentator into the other side, and I remember putting out an article in Boxing Monthly which says that we should get all the promoters at the time. You had Ricky Hattons, your Frank Maloney's, Frank Warren's, and Mick Hennessy, and obviously Matchroom, get them all together in a room and try and make the best fight the best, and that never really happened at the time, and I think some promoters were against that and said, it can't happen, it's rubbish, that we've all got our own fighters. But look, this is a unique time for the world, isn't it, with the terrible pandemic that's going on. We've all had patience coming back into boxing. It's back, which is great. There's no crowd, which is disappointing, but obviously we're doing what we can. When the crowd comes back, the gates come back, the money comes back, so it's very different. So at the moment, it's just sort of seeing how we go week by week. So our focus is on Fight Camp. Our focus is on giving our customers the best we can. I think we did that last week. I think tomorrow night it's going to be absolutely brilliant. We're going to have, Harper and Jonas. We've got the Commonwealth Cruiserweight clash, Billum Smith and Thorley unbeaten. You've got some great fights, Fowler back, and it's going to be a really, really interesting night. Next week, again, Cash Wellborn and another host of fights, and then into your Sky Sports box office week with, can you believe, White, Povetkin and Taylor Pursoon are going to actually happen, not just in the Matchroom Square Garden, but they're going to actually happen in this climate, because making big fights is nigh on impossible with the finances. Without a gate, without the thousands of people there, it's very hard. And I take my hat off to Eddie and to Frank Smith and to all the fighters for actually making this happen, because they're giving us the Sky Sports box office attraction without a gate. And I think that's incredible that they've done that. And, Katie's got a very, very exciting and dangerous rematch, a fight we all wanted to see. She wanted it, we wanted it. Dillian and Alexander Povetkin are going to go at each other, and Povetkin's got so much experience. It's a very exciting fight. There's talk of maybe AJ turning up, maybe even Tyson Fury will come into the garden, maybe even Frank Warren will come. Maybe they'll all come and watch it. It'll be fantastic, won't it? Even if the crowd can't get, I'm sure we can get one or two of those guys in. But that would be good fun, wouldn't it? If the heavyweights. And look, isn't it brilliant that we've got British heavyweights? Look at it. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian White, Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, Fabio Wardley the other night. Isn't it brilliant that this is, we are holding the force this side of the pond, and at a time where we can't go to that side of the pond, unfortunately, we all love being in America. Maybe, hey, listen, we can get more fights happening in that garden, that square garden. But realistically, there's a lot of money that needs to be involved to make the really big fights, and we'll have to wait and see. But it's a very interesting move by Frank. It's something that's not totally unexpected from what he was saying to me during lockdown and the great interviews that he did. It was terrific to get him back on, and he's a great promoter, and obviously we know Eddie is, and Eddie's the man for us and has been for a number of years, and we've got this great relationship, and long may it continue. So if Eddie wants to meet Frank, then he'll tell me, he'll say, Adam, want to come along? Or we'll talk afterwards, no problem at all. George Warren, Francis Warren, Frank Smith, we'll all get together and have a coffee and get the BT guys in there, and who knows, but we're concentrating on our business, and that's the most important thing at the moment.
I think that's for September, but for now, roll on Friday, and we'll catch a word after the show tomorrow. All right, thank you, Adam.
Cheers, UMAR.